when Zoe talks about eating loads and staying skinny, is she actually eating a lot? Or maybe, in fact, is she actually lying about how much she's eating? And sadly, many people may do so as a means of trying to sell something. So today we're going to be learning how to apparently eat a lot and stay skinny, because Zoe Unlimited has told me that it's possible and has in fact even said she's going to show me how I can do it. Do I want to do it? Absolutely not. Do you want to do it? Well, it's your body, your choice, but let's find out.
It has come to my attention that I eat way more than the average girl of any size, and sometimes even guys.
Eat more how? That's the question, is do we eat more calories than the average person, or are we eating more volume than the average person? Because they're two very different things. You can eat high volume foods that are very low calorie, which will likely result in keep you around maintenance or maybe even put you in a deficit. You can eat low volume foods that are very high calorie that will put you in a caloric surplus, which means you'll probably gain weight. It's very much are we talking about high volume or high calories?
I remember the days that I broke my metabolism. I would gain weight the speed of every car on the 405 without traffic.
I don't like it when people say that they broke their metabolism. I think realistically, when people say they're experiencing metabolic damage or they broke their metabolism, whatever it may be, chances are you probably didn't. Oftentimes people say, oh, I dieted too quickly and I broke my metabolism. No, again, you probably didn't. That's why a lot of people and some influencers online that I will not mention made a lot of money by creating like these reverse dieting ebooks and courses, when in reality, for the vast majority of people, to reverse diet effectively, you just need to get back to maintenance as quickly as possible. You do not need to go through many weeks of let's increase by 50, 50, 50. You can just go bang, maintenance, reverse diet completed. It's not going to help like heal your metabolism or fix your metabolism, because for most of you watching this, your metabolism is probably fine. I think this whole idea of like people breaking their metabolism was really kind of made popular by the people who are trying to sell you something and by the people who are trying to create something that you don't need to follow. If I find somebody else who's a similar body fat percentage as me, similar weight, similar height, similar age, kind of very similar to me, then their metabolism is probably going to be very similar to mine as well.
Number one, intermittent fasting. Once again, intermittent fasting is not a diet. There is no calorie or food restriction.
So intermittent fasting is something I've spoken about many times before, and intermittent fasting is something that a lot of people will latch onto like it's gospel. I think ultimately at the end of the day, intermittent fasting in the grand scheme of things is just kind of limiting your window of eating. So if you go 18-6, you're limiting your eating to 6 hours. Therefore, you only have 6 hours to hit your calories, which for a lot of people can aid in weight loss or maybe make it easier for them to maintain weight because they're limited, like I said, to eating their calories within 6 hours. For example, I eat loads of calories. I eat many, many thousands of calories a day because I'm trying to gain weight. Intermittent fasting for me would not make sense because I will not get, let's say, 5,000 calories in a 6-hour window. It's just not going to happen. But let's say I was trying to lose weight and I was on really low calories, for example. Let's say I was on 1,200 calories, for example. I might choose to adopt an intermittent fasting approach for no other reason than just limiting how much food I can eat and kind of limiting that window to stop me potentially overeating and going against what I'm trying to achieve for my goals. Is that something I would do? Probably not. I'd just kind of ideally try and split my food out across the day evenly with high volumes of food, which are relatively low calories, things like salads, so you can eat a lot of without consuming many calories. At the end of the day, if you find it easier to just limit how much you can eat because of time limitations, then yeah, absolutely go for it. But no, intermittent fasting is not like a gospel amazing make or break thing. It's not an incredible invention that's going to change your life. It's just something that may make it easier for you to stay within your caloric restriction, or if you're not tracking calories, because you're limiting how many hours you can actually eat, that might unintentionally contribute towards putting you in a calorie deficit or make it easier for you to stick at maintenance, because again, you don't have as many hours to eat and snack. Down below in the description are a few things. You have the link to apply to work with myself, Ryder or Beth on a one-to-one basis where we will coach you towards your goals, whatever they will be. You've also got the link to join the TFNL group coaching where you can sign up for less than your Netflix subscription through Train Heroic and follow a program that I've created for the community for both at home or at the gym. You can talk in the message board, discuss with other members of the community and even with me and send some bits and bobs in there too. And you've also got the option to look at the TFNL workout guides, which are great for working out at home, working out at the gym, upper body focus, glute focus. You've got so many things to choose from. Not only do they provide you with many months of programming for you to follow, but they also provide you with loads of information regarding how to gain muscle, how to lose fat, some nutritional tips, some tips regarding the science behind resistance training, and to be honest, a lot of things that many people don't teach you. So if you fancy any of that, have a look down below in the description or maybe even the comment section and see if anything tickles your pickle.
While we're on the topic of metabolic rate, I need to bring up my second tip of how to eat a lot and not increase body fat. resistance training.
I mean, yeah, in fairness, I back it. I actually back it. So I've always said, if you could choose one, cardio or resistance training, which would I choose for long-term fat loss? I would choose resistance training, because if you're resistance training, you're still moving, therefore you are still burning calories, but also additional muscle mass means that you will burn more calories at rest. No, the extra calories will probably not be as high as you think. I think Zoe quoted a study that said it was like 10 pounds of muscle will result in 50 extra daily calories at rest, whereas 10 pounds of fat will result in 20 extra daily calories at rest, when in reality 10 pounds of muscle is a lot of muscle. Like a lot of muscle. If you see trainers that stick their clients online that basically say, oh, this client lost 7 pounds of fat and gained 10 pounds of muscle in 3 months. No, they did not. A prime example of how hard 10 pounds of muscle might be to gain. Ronnie Coleman is arguably the best bodybuilder of all time. Huge. He was nearly 300 pounds on stage, and I think he's 8-time Mr. Olympia, which is the highest competition in bodybuilding. On average, I believe he said that he gained about 10 pounds of muscle per year. So this is someone who's on copious amounts of performance enhancing drugs, somebody who is a genetic mutant where he will grow muscle from sneezing, probably, trains incredibly hard. Everything, the stars have aligned to put him in a position to gain as much muscle mass as possible, and he's averaging about 10 pounds of muscle a year. 10 pounds is a lot. Earlier on, when you start training, yes, you can expect to gain quite a lot of muscle, because again, you're new, you're like a sponge, you're absorbing everything you're doing, but the longer and longer you train for, typically the amount of muscle you will gain each year will decrease. And for many of us at this point, we may only be gaining a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds of muscle a year, who knows? So again, to get 10 pounds of muscle for an extra 50 calories, that's a lot of muscle. That's a lot of muscle. It's going to be a lot harder than you think. But it's still something. It still means that the extra muscle mass will result in additional calories burned at rest, which in turn, paired with the calories you're going to be burning while exercising, it's going to be a pretty good time. In an ideal world, you do both. You resistance train and you move more, and maybe even throw into the equation, eat a bit less. It's kind of the trifecta of weight loss, really. But if I could only choose one, it would definitely be resistance training. The one thing I want to kind of go on, and the one thing I want to maybe educate about the title of the video of how I eat a lot and stay skinny, is realistically, this applies to many people, unfortunately. You probably don't. To be honest, when people kind of promote this thing of eating loads and staying skinny, I often feel like they're sometimes promoting a lie, because the reality is, when it comes to eating loads and staying skinny, are they actually eating loads, or do they just eat a lot on a day and maybe eat less on the following days, thus equating to them netting out to even when it comes to calories? Because again, we look at weekly calories, not daily calories. If you eat in a massive surplus on day 1 and 2 at the weekend, but eat in a deficit on days 1 to 5 in the week, you actually might level out the maintenance, which is obviously why you're not gaining weight, because you're only eating a lot on 2 days. Or the other argument is, are they actually eating loads of calories, or are they eating loads of volume? You can eat a lot of low calorie foods that are very high volume, that may look like a lot of food, but when it comes to caloric intake, may not be that high at all. And that's essentially what's going to determine weight gain and weight loss, calories in versus calories out. So again, when Zoe talks about eating loads and staying skinny, is she actually eating a lot? Or maybe in fact, is she actually lying about how much she's eating? Because many people unfortunately do that. And sadly, many people may do so as a means of trying to sell something. I don't think Zoe is doing that here. I don't believe she is selling anything. A lot of people do, unfortunately. Sometimes people aren't necessarily entirely truthful online, and sometimes people are just simply poorly informed. So when it comes to how can you best eat a lot and remain skinny, if that's genuinely what you want to achieve, so I would always say at the end of the day, it's your body, your choice. Increase the amount of muscle mass you have to obviously, like we said, increase your basal metabolic rate, but also increase the amount you're expending through activity to then allow you to consume a bit more and then net out at maintenance. It really is that simple. Whether you should strive to be skinny, remain skinny, is not my place to say. At the end of the day, I have my goals, I have the things I want to achieve with my body, and you have your goals and the things you want to achieve with your body. At the end of the day, I always say your body, your choice. You must do what's best for you and what makes you happiest. When it comes to fat gain and fat loss, it's largely down to calories. Calories in versus calories out. You want to lose weight? Calorie deficit. You want to gain weight? Calorie surplus. You want to maintain weight? Calorie maintenance. Eating, activity, or a combination of both. But like I said, when people often say they eat loads and stay skinny, ask yourself, what's their weekly caloric intake looking like, and how consistent is that across the weeks? Just my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear yours in the comment section below. But until the next video, thank you for tolerating me, thank you for tolerating my waffle about food, and thank you for tolerating the video.